Hey guys, Dan and Daisy here for another video for you guys. We're gonna bring an interesting topic to you based on a lot of feedback we get from people who are moving to this area. A lot of people are considering, if they're moving to Wisconsin, they're considering like Eau Claire or La Crosse. They're always asking us the pros and cons of the two locations. And I wanna make a little video for you guys just to help you with that decision making process, make it a little bit easier for you guys. So a couple things you gotta understand about Eau Claire and La Crosse. They're both smaller, medium-sized cities, and they're both geographically a lot different than each other. The biggest thing geographically about Eau Claire is that it's on rolling hills or more flat ground. La Crosse, you have the Mississippi River, which stops the city from expanding that direction, and then you have massive bluffs on the other side of La Crosse. So you have this condensed area where you really can't have any more expansion of the city, which I've heard it makes it chaotic down there, because if you're trying to buy a house in the city or trying to build something, you obviously can't live in La Crosse. So you're kind of stuck with what you have there. Versus Eau Claire, they have more of an opportunity to build a house in these different neighborhoods and expand because of geographically how they're situated. Now that comes pros and cons, right? The nice thing that La Crosse has, you got the Mississippi River. What a cool stinking river there.
One unique thing about La Crosse here is La Crosse actually has houseboats. My mom's boyfriend actually has a houseboat and he lives in it part-time during the summer. So this is Mississippi. This is a bridge, that's La Crosse over there. And we are crossing over into Minnesota here. This is Pettibone Beach here on the Mississippi, right down from the houseboats I just showed you. This is the hot spot in the summer for college students. You can see looks like kayak rentals, paddleboard rentals, some cool canoes, and the dogs are gonna jump into the Mississippi River and make my truck all dirty. You can see across the road is La Crosse Center. It's kind of a cool little beach area. Dogs are gonna love it. They're gonna get me wet, but you know what? It's worth it. They love it. Maybe they'll calm down a little bit then. Well, I just recorded pixel drowning, so.
Eau Claire does also they have the Chippewa River, also amazing. The Chippewa River is actually goes right through the center and the heart of Eau Claire. Eau Claire River actually meets at the confluence, which is where the two rivers join, is that actually right at Phoenix Park, which is right in the middle of Eau Claire, and a bunch of bridges down there, really cool spots. So both cities have that going for it, the natural beauty of river, lakes, all that stuff. Eau Claire doesn't really have the bluffs, so I would say that La Crosse has that going for it, that has really nice hiking up on the bluffs.
All right, this is Grandad Bluff. I will say that this time of year is very brown in Wisconsin. We're here in the springtime and everything is still brown, nothing's really green yet. Oh my God, look at that guy. This is a cool little spot. It's overlooking La Crosse. It's probably one of the best things about La Crosse is the fact that it has a lot of bluffs around it. You can see we're on one side of the bluff here, and here is one of the two neighborhoods that we're looking at. There's UW La Crosse, Mississippi River backwaters, and that over there is another bluff, and that's Minnesota. The other bluff is Minnesota. So this is just in a big, huge valley. You can see why the city can't expand anywhere, because it's bluff, Mississippi River, another bluff.
From here, you can see all 4 states that are on the corner. So it's Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa. So from here, you can see all of those that way.
Someday, Simba, this will all be yours.
Eau Claire doesn't have that part. They do have a lot of hiking trails. You can travel about 20 minutes outside of town and find these really nice bluffs to hike, but they're not in town like La Crosse. However, Eau Claire does have a lot of good hiking trails and parks in it, like Lowe's Creek, Northwest Park, and then Putnam Trail, Putnam Park. So they have a lot of that type of stuff there. So just because they don't have bluffs doesn't mean that they don't have good hiking trails and locations to go do outdoor exploring type stuff. Size of both cities. Eau Claire is a little bit bigger in geographic location and also population. So Eau Claire has about 70,000 people, and La Crosse has about 52,000 people according to my research. So Eau Claire is a little bit more populated, but La Crosse is more condensed for the population density. So next thing is going to be just what's the culture and like social scene around both locations. I would say they're both equally tied here. They both have very great music venues, and like Eau Claire has a Pablo Center, which brings in some great names to the area. And then La Crosse has Oktoberfest, which even people up here in Eau Claire travel down to La Crosse to go to Oktoberfest. So both areas would, I'd say, feel like they're tied personally. Keep in mind, I've never lived down in La Crosse before. I'm gonna have Justin, my photographer, who's actually lived down in La Crosse and Eau Claire, hop on here and tell you his own personal opinion.
So I just kind of wanted to hop on and talk a little bit about my experience with La Crosse and Eau Claire. I've lived in both places now. Granted, when I was in La Crosse, I was there during college. I didn't have access to a car necessarily, like right away. So I kind of was limited to everywhere that I can walk. If you need to do shopping, then you got to go to Onalaska if you want to have your variety of stores. There is a Walmart on the south side of La Crosse and a couple other stores, but for the most part, you're probably going to go to Onalaska to do your shopping, as well as like restaurants. Most of the restaurants are in Onalaska. Onalaska is the hub of everything. A lot of the employment's in Onalaska. Downtown La Crosse is downtown La Crosse. There's bars, there's a few restaurants, there's hotels, there's a lot of industrial. It's just kind of a small little area. I will say that both areas are great for outdoor activities. You can actually see right over here, there's a mountain biking trail that goes here. And we are in La Crosse right now, but to access a lot of it, you're going to want a vehicle to get to it. It's not right downtown if that's the area you're living, which is almost the only area for living. It's kind of all big one area. When I was here in La Crosse, I had a mountain bike and I love going mountain biking. I really got to explore all the trails of La Crosse. Unfortunately, that got stolen in La Crosse when I was going to school here. It was locked up and everything, and still someone was able to take it. In Eau Claire, there is a ton of mountain biking also. There just isn't quite amount of trails, and the elevation change but on the trails isn't quite the same, so there's not as long of steep drops, kind of level out quicker. So like outdoor activities, there's a lot to offer in both places. I would say La Crosse just has a slightly more to offer with the bluffs and everything, but don't discount Eau Claire because it's super well known for its biking community. In La Crosse, there is the Riverwalk, which is really nice.
One of the things I really am liking about La Crosse as I'm walking through here is they do a really good job of having water frontage parks and things to do. This is Amphitheater Park, Riverside Park here downtown La Crosse, and I gotta say that the biggest river in the United States right here. So they do a really good job of making sure that this is being really highlighted throughout the entire city. So we're parked here. You can see across on the other side of the river is also a park. I believe they do paddle boat tours right here. And this paddle boat's massive. Like, look how big that tie up is right there. And then there's two more down that way and one more down there. Mississippi River has such a huge history in the United States and in Wisconsin as well. So pretty cool highlighted feature for La Crosse.
Overall, I just prefer Eau Claire. I've just had a positive experience living in Eau Claire. Just the vibe in Eau Claire also is better in my opinion. One thing about living in La Crosse was the biggest city that was nearby for me to go visit friends or just big city was like Madison. And that was about 2 hours and 15 minutes, I believe, versus now being in Eau Claire, I can go to Minneapolis, Twin Cities in just over an hour. Closest to bigger cities definitely goes to Eau Claire.
Job market and economy, I would also say that both of these are pretty close to tied. Crosse is much more industrial. And so if that's what you're looking for, that might be a better option. Both have a lot of hospitals to work at and just overall industry.
We've made it to the hollow land of Kwik Trip headquarters down here in La Crosse. One thing that La Crosse has up on Eau Claire, Wisconsin is that Kwik Trip is Wisconsin's favorite gas station. If you guys have ever been down south to like Texas, you guys know it's Buc-ee's. Kwik Trip, donuts, pizza, hot food, everything you could possibly want. So when you guys come here to Wisconsin, make sure you stop at Kwik Trip. And kind of a cool little spot here. It looks like we're just at this massive place and it's a dang gas station. Can you believe it? Even back here, we got an actual Kwik Trip gas station. This is my first time, so this is the first time for you guys seeing it and me. Kind of cool little spot.
Cost of living, I would say both of these are very similar as well. I looked up the average price point, median price point for a house, and a median price point for a house right now in Eau Claire is right around $275, where La Crosse is actually $225. So affordability of housing could be a little bit more affordable in the Crosse, but that might come with just the amount of extra older homes there.
All right, guys, we're gonna show a little bit of the neighborhood here. One notable thing about La Crosse is because it is located between two bluffs and the Mississippi River, there's really only two neighborhoods that make up La Crosse versus Eau Claire. If you watch my other videos, you'll know that Eau Claire is made up of 10-ish neighborhoods, and they're all distinctly different from each other. Where La Crosse, you have two neighborhoods, and a lot of the college student housing is just mixed in with the normal residential housing. And I'll kind of show you guys the different. This is more of the college student housing area that I'm walking around right now. Similar to Eau Claire, just typical college student type housing. But that's the weird part about Eau Claire. Eau Claire does have a distinct student housing area versus La Crosse. Since there's only two neighborhoods, then a lot of the student housing is just mixed in with the normal residential houses.
It would kind of make sense for me why Eau Claire's average price point would be about $50,000 higher, because we also have a bunch of new developments on the south side of town which bring that average price point up. But I think we still have good affordable housing in pockets of neighborhoods throughout Eau Claire that are still really nice areas to live. Last but not least for me is the school system. So according to my research, I found this information on Public School Review. I just looked up the average test taking scores of La Crosse and Eau Claire. Eau Claire on average scored at a 7 out of 10 on tests, where La Crosse was actually rated 3 out of 10. So Eau Claire overall public schools rated in the top 50% of schools statewide, and La Crosse actually rated on the lower 50% of schools statewide. So if that's a factor for you, maybe something to do a little bit more digging on your own. I'm just bringing you the information so you kind of know. So if you're moving here, make sure you guys reach out to me. I have a real estate office downtown Eau Claire, and if you're looking to buy a house, make sure you reach out to me. I can definitely help you find something in the area. Okay, now that you guys have heard my opinion of La Crosse versus Eau Claire and Justin's personal opinion about living in both locations, now you guys can make your own decision. I hope this video is helpful for you guys. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to our channel. This channel is all about living in Eau Claire, what it's like to eat, play, live, work, everything that has to come with living in Eau Claire. We love visitors. We've actually had people stop in at our office a few times in the past just to come say hi to us. Even though they're not looking to buy a house or anything with us, we still love the company, and Daisy likes the head scratches. So come in, say hi to Daisy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.